All right, welcome to BSing with Sean K. I'm your host, Sean Kneese. Today, my guest is independent filmmaker and founder of Vega Constellations, Christine Vega. She is an actress as well, and she's starring in a new project that her company's currently working on called The Rage of a Vixen. So thanks for coming on.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So, what can you say about yourself and like how you got started with acting and filmmaking and your company Vega Constellations?
Yeah, I could honestly say, well, my mom could be quoted as saying that she knew I was going to be in the entertainment field because I would always dance and kick in her stomach. So by the time I was put out into this world, I already sort of knew what I wanted, and that was to be in front of people and create. So just with that, that engine rolling, I think it didn't hit me until I was in fifth grade when I saw Les Mis on Broadway that I knew I just wanted to be on stage and in front of people and just create. And then, of course, you go to school, you do what you got to do, but I always knew that just seeing the smile on people's faces and just being really involved and really wanting to be also behind the scenes to know how everything's created. So I think it just really started at the age of, I want to say 8 or 9, when you see things around you and you're like, okay, that's what I want to do, but you don't know how to do it yet. And then definitely in high school and college, just taking a chance and making it your own.
So what would you say you're more passionate about at this point? Do you enjoy working behind the scenes more, or are you more passionate about acting?
I absolutely adore acting, but I would also love to be behind the scenes creating. So whatever role it is, let's say I do my acting and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we need help backstage and we need this and we need that, and who could put this together? I would love to do both from now until forever. So, yeah.
And what can you say about your project that your company's currently working on called The Rage of a Vixen, and how did it first get started?
The Rage of a Vixen was actually in my mind for a couple of years, and it didn't come to fruition until I would say about 2 years at a fundraiser where I met Kevin Patrick Nelson, who's actually the writer-director. And basically we just met at a fundraiser, and I told him I had this idea about this woman who kicks some butt, and that she's strong, she's independent, and her world is not the typical world, but then it sort of is, because I wanted to play with fantasy and real life. And then fast forward a year and a half, we start talking, and I was just sick of not getting callbacks and sick of all the no's and sick of everything else. And, being in this industry for 10 years, it's like, what's going to give? And, a lot of it's luck. A lot of it's meeting the right people. A lot of it's being at the right place, right time. But I knew my now was now. And I actually had told I didn't actually tell anyone. I quit. I woke up one Saturday morning and was just like, I was done. And even though I had this story in mind, I was just like, I'm done. It's going to be too hard. I give up. But then my mother at work gave me a keychain that said, the key to life is motivation, knowledge, and strength. And that just woke me up. So I knew I couldn't quit. So I put a team together. I said, for the last 10 years, I know all these people. Why not grab a couple of people who want to pitch in and help? And we created an Indiegogo page, and it just took a life of its own, and we created her. So
what other projects has this company worked on? Has it been similar to this one, or?
Well, this is our main focus as of now, but we definitely want to do some other projects. We would love to do a sports movie. We would love to do comedy. We would love to, just go out there and create photo shoots, music videos, whatever the case may be. But our main objective now is The Rage of a Vixen, and we actually want to start a blog. We want to start a vlog. We want to introduce people into her world and really get people to go on this website and say, oh my God, what is she saying now, And I thought that would be pretty cool to get this character instead of just, we have the short film and it's taking a life of its own, but we just recently came up with the idea, how cool would it be if she had her own website and she was more real than she is, and we allowed her to come to life and like answer questions through people, and they're like, why is it the way you are? And she's just answering like as real as possible. So we really want to make her come to life. We want to do photo shoots of her. We want to do interviews with her. We want just her to have a presence in this life, because she definitely is remarkable. She's I grew up always going for the underdog, whether it was basketball, hockey, softball, baseball, and it's like, not even just that, just in life in general. Like, my lunch table, I didn't sit at the popular table, or I didn't sit at the gothic table. I sat at a table that had a mixture of everyone. And, even though the Rage of a Vixen, her name's Viviana, she is a dominatrix, but she fights back. And the way she fights back, it's not just the typical, okay, yeah, she has fight moves and stuff, but no, like, she helps her friends who are the underdogs, and she tries to, like, help them through their lives as well as her own. So
would you say like there's some of you in this character, or?
Oh yes. It definitely is. I've been asked about this, and it comes to a point where it's like, do I give my all? No, let me take that back. Do I basically not hide anything from the viewers because she's so similar to me, yet when you see this, you're like, oh my God, did this really happen? So at first I'm like, oh my God, I don't want people to think I got beat up when I was younger or whatever the case may be. But then I'm like, let the audience have the chance to believe what they want to believe and not. Like, I don't want to, put a series out there and be like, this is what happened A through Z, when in reality, it's like, wait, did that really happen? Is this really Christine, or is this really Viviana? So there's definitely similarities. I mean, she's athletic, she hangs out. Her best friend is a cross-dresser. He has his own burlesque. He does his dancing, but, at first she didn't know that, and that happened in real life. Like, my friend Lennon, he phenomenal actor. We met, and all of a sudden, years later, he dresses up as a woman, and I'm like, you're more prettier than me. And I definitely use that in the series because it's real. And he inspires me, like the beauty he portrays on stage, and the fact that, yeah, he's a man dressed as a woman, but he doesn't give a hoot. Like, he's just like, I'm living, I could perform. And then at the end of the day, he goes home to his wife. So there's nothing wrong with that, right?
So, when working with other people on this project, has it been hard to like keep your vision like that you originally had, or?
I think it's always hard, but I believe with this one, it all came together organically. Like, everyone had an open mind. And, when I went after the actors I went after, because, friends on and off for 10 years or so, each person I picked for this project, I knew that they had an open mind. Like, I couldn't take someone who was like, okay, it's dominatrix world, I'm not going to deal with that. When in reality, I didn't feel like I needed to explain myself. I just said, listen, here, I have a story. I have you for a role. I think you have the look, and I know you can act. And do you want to be a part of this project? And it's going to be fun. And that's what I wanted. I wanted my group to come together and be like fun and get along. And like, I knew we only had 2 days to shoot this. So I was like, what group of people could I get together for 19 hours a day where we don't kill each other? And honestly, it all came together. Everyone came together. Everyone was pitched in. Everyone asked, can I help? Can I, what else do you need? And it really, really was a gift to get all these people involved and all these people on the same track to get the picture made. So I feel really lucky with that.
What can you say like about the fighting moves you used in the film? Like, do you study martial arts or anything like that, or?
No, I think what helped was the fact that I'm athletic, and I was always the tomboy since, 7 years old, watching my two brothers and my sister play sports. So, I played basketball, softball, soccer, track my whole life. And, I knew I didn't know any really, I didn't know any fight moves. So, I went to the Urban Action Film Festival 3 years ago, and I went in support because, it was all over Facebook, so I'm like, yo, let me support this, ethnic diversity fighters, let's check it out. And then the following year, I submitted a short film called 123, which came before Vega Constellations, but now that I think about it, actually started Vega Constellations because, I actually reached out to Kevin, the writer-director, and I was like, I don't know, I have 7 days to make this film up, and I know I could get into this film festival, and he definitely guided me through that. So I would say 123 definitely started Vega Constellations, but the Rage of a Vixen is definitely the fruit on the table. It's what brought everything together, and I actually trained with Demetrius Angelo. He works for HBO, and he actually has his own company that, takes on actors who want to learn fighting techniques and all this stuff. So I just reached out to him through Facebook, and I said, listen, are you looking for any, Hispanic Latinas who you could train to fight? And he was like, well, if you're dedicated, it's 3 times a week, 2-hour days, but it's hard training, like, let me know. And I signed up right away. And I would say that was in June, and we shot The Rage of Vixen in September. So from June, July, August, like every other week or something, it'll be 1 to 2 times a week. And I definitely trained. Definitely trained. And we did Taekwondo. We did a lot of karate, a lot of street fighting techniques, a lot of, just learning movements. Movements is most important, especially on film, because when you're filming from different angles, it's like if I'm going to move right, I have to make sure I dip in a certain way and like my arm is not covering or blocking my face. So it was definitely a whirlwind, but the training was phenomenal. Definitely phenomenal.
And what's it been like promoting yourself? Like, has it been challenging or?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I knew we could get this film done, but I didn't want to put myself out there and ask for help. I mean, I knew I could get the crew, I knew I could get the actors, but when it came to the financial aspect of it, I knew I didn't just want this film to get made and just be, something that no one ever sees. I knew I wanted it to be beautiful, and I knew I needed help, even though I hate asking for help. So when the whole Indiegogo page came along, it was an eye-opener, because people who I didn't think would donated, and people who I would have thought would donate didn't donate. So it was just a lot of back and forth, but I realized, just putting yourself out there and asking for help, you'll see who your true believers are. And it definitely awoken something deep inside me, because I'm always one to help, but to ask for help is a total different ball game. But yeah, it came together the way it was supposed to.
And what's like the most challenging part of like putting like a film together?
The most challenging part is the editing. I mean, everything came together and everything, but when I didn't edit. Kevin actually edited as well. But being the fact that, we don't own a whole Apple desktop or like the latest editing gadgets or anything. Like I feel like the way the film came together was very old school. And that was a challenge, because, the computer would freeze up, and we're waiting to get the fight scene together, and it would just go like really slow, and we're like, no, is she punching? Is she kicking? Is she smiling? But I think the whole process went really, really smoothly. I would just say the editing and trying to get everything done at a deadline, and but we were fortunate enough to get it done by the deadline. So.
And then like with like acting and working behind the scenes at the same time, did that get difficult or?
It's crazy because I would act, and then I would remember going to the director, Kevin, and I'm like, how did I do? And he's like, you're phenomenal. And I'm like, but I don't remember anything. And it wasn't that I didn't remember anything. It's just, I guess I was wearing 2 hats at the same time. So my concern, yes, was acting, but then my concern also as a producer was, did everyone eat? Did everyone go on break? Is everyone okay? Is anyone feeling sick? Is anyone doing this, that, and the third? So when it came to acting, I acted. And when it came to producing, I produced. And, by all means, people came up to me at different times, and they were like, they would call me Vega at one moment, and then the next moment they would call me Viviana. And, I didn't really necessarily have to separate the two because they're both so similar. So it actually worked out, and it was enjoyable.
And I know, like at this point, you said this is the main thing you're working on. But do you have like ideas for like other films in the future at this point, or like anything?
I definitely want to hit something on basketball because that was something, near and dear to my heart. And being a female, I would love to hit that up. Or I would also love to hit up a story similar to a woman who is a firefighter in a firehouse. That's something close to me because one of my brothers is a firefighter. And, I really want to hit on the world. I mean, I guess I am already hitting on the world with Viviana because she is a nurse. And, in her nightlife, she's a dominatrix. But the two actually go hand in hand because people have this stereotype about dominatrices, but when you realize like they do know how to defend themselves, they are mothers or wives or girlfriends that do go home during the day and have these daily jobs. I really want to hit on that, but then with other projects, I definitely want to do inspiring work, but very creatively. And whether it's I have this like 5-minute monologue I want to put together. It's in the works, and it's called Spotlight, where I want to take 5 actors, and it's sort of like that Michael Jackson video, "You're black, you're white," that song where their heads change. But the Spotlight video, I want them all to talk about this monologue, and their voices, interchange with each other, so it's one unison voice. So that's something we're also working on too. So there's a lot coming up.
So do you have any other passions aside from like filmmaking or acting?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, filmmaking, acting is definitely the numero uno in my life, but I would say creating, whether it's volunteering or, just going in the park and working out with different people or whatever the case may be. I really feel that other passions, like I really want to get back into drawing. Right now, I actually just did makeup for LA Fashion Week. And before heading out there, I never considered myself a makeup artist. It's just being on set for, on and off 10 years. You see all the ins and outs. And now I do makeup on the side. So that's something that just popped up out of the blue. But guess what? I'll take it. So I'm open for learning and exploring. And another passion of mine is road trips. Like I love just, going somewhere, turn off the phone, turn off the computer, and really be with nature and live. And that's something more I want to do is travel the world. So looking forward to that.
And what can you say about like your experience with the industry, and like what do you think you've learned over the years?
I was just talking to a few people. I wish that my college would have really pushed the goal of like going through internships, because once I graduated college, I honestly didn't even know what an internship was, and I wish I would have done more research on my own, with production companies and the ins and outs. But by Googling it myself, I did the whole production assistant program with Made in New York. It's run by the mayor's office of New York City, so that's definitely have opened doors with behind the scenes. And in front of the scenes, honestly, all I can say is putting yourself out there. Don't get stuck with the idea of being famous or wanting to become famous, but really have it in your heart that you want a career out of this. And if your mindset is set on the fact that you're going in, especially with acting or producing, and you're like, I want to make a career, and it's not about being famous, it's just about really pushing yourself and making a career that you can have from today to the end of time, I believe you've accomplished everything you set out to, and that's what I'm aiming towards. So.
And like, what would you say is like your ultimate like dream, like of where you want to be? Like,
I would love to see myself with Vega Constellations doing a lot of independent films. I love independent films. I mean, if a blockbuster came my way, okay, so be it. But I really want to bring forth independent films, and I just want to be that girl that you see on set that you're like, wait, she's an actress, but wait, she's producing at the moment, and wait, she works at the hospital volunteering. And it's like, I want to be the jack of all trades. I want to be the chameleon. I want to, have many hats on my head. And I see myself just creating for the rest of my life. And I see myself really pushing, for the fact that, I had the biggest no on my forehead and I made my own yes. So I definitely see myself, entering festivals, just really putting myself out there and taking on people who want to really, truly create as well.
So, like, would you say, like, you find, like, there's more creative freedom in, like, independent films? Or?
Oh, yes. Even starting this up, Vega Constellations, like, I don't want to be judged. And I guess in the beginning, that's what I was talking about. Like, you don't want to put everything out there because you don't want people to just say, oh, is that true or is that not? But I really want Vega Constellations to not have an edit button. When it comes to photography, not saying I'll put exotic nude photos up, but I'm saying, there's a way to make something so beautiful and so classy and not look trashy, as well as the films. Like, if the film, they're doing drugs in the film or this and the third, I don't want to hide anything. I want everything to be out in the open to make the audience actually feel so uncomfortable that they're comfortable with knowing the truth. So
what advice would you have for someone else trying to make it in the industry?
I would say surround yourself with people who are doing it, people who don't talk the talk but walk the walk. I guess that's a terminology to put it as. I say surround yourself, have a loving comfort zone. Like my believers are definitely my family and my friends and sometimes my strangers, but if it wasn't for my parents or, my boyfriend or my sister or brothers, like certain people in my life, I don't think I would have been able to do this industry, to be honest. If I didn't have that net to fall on, I think I would have just stopped and had a career 9 to 5, I guess, and just be miserable. But I think if you know what you want out of life and you know the passion you want to pursue, just don't ever feel you're doing it alone. Always know that there's someone out there fighting the same fight. And, one day you'll meet and one day you'll be in the same room and you'll say, wow, we did it. So all I have to say is if someone's pursuing what I'm pursuing is you're going to have many nights of crying. You're going to have many nights of wanting to give up. But when you're surrounded by so much love and so much believers, there is no giving up. And I would just say follow the passions, know the steps. I wouldn't necessarily say you would have to go to school for acting or school for, filmmaking. I honestly, I didn't go to school for filmmaking. I just knew the right people and I knew the vision I wanted. So, know the right people, pursue it, and keep fighting.
So any final thoughts or things you'd like to say? Would you like to plug your website or?
Yeah, well, currently we just have Facebook. We're actually working on VegaConstellations.com. We're actually working on a T-shirt line. I want to say a lot of my group, like Tasmin, who's one of my photographers, Jesus, who's one of my photographers, Sketches, who's one of my special effects makeup artists, Elvira, who does my makeup. All these people, we're all going to come together. So Vega Constellations, look out for us because the website's coming soon. It's going to be a hub. It's going to introduce you to the world of Viviana and really push her life and allow the audience of viewers to want to be a part of it. So I say look out for that. And then also the goal of the Rage of Vixen, at first it was to make it into a full-length movie, but the more and more we sat down and talked about it, myself and the team, we realized it should be a series and we should really create her from the ground up and have her, blog as well. So when you see the series, you get to go on her website and then you get to see, okay, she fought this guy. Why did she fight him? And what was she thinking when she was fighting him? And we're just going to really push this series. And, besides that, just always create. So Vega Constellations is going to be where, is the coming together of all the underdogs, but the stars aligned and we're all going to shine at the same time.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode of BSing with Sean K. I'd like to thank my guest, Christine, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was truly, truly a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. It was great having you. And, so I should have more episodes coming soon. So stay tuned.